Shaun, first session or proper session last night after the lighter one on Sunday. How did it go?
Yeah, it went really well. We had all the boys there and they all trained really well. Obviously a bit of a greasy night with the conditions as they are at this time of year, but yeah, plenty of enthusiasm amongst the boys and certainly keen to get out there on Saturday.
And you've held on to a few players from last season, but obviously a few new guys as well. How are the new guys responding, and are you sort of happy with where the team's at from a connection sort of perspective?
Yeah, look, it's always hard to know, I think, with Interleague, how well the boys are going to gel, but there's certainly a lot of experienced players across the league, whether they've been playing last year with us or are new to the league, so they certainly understand coming into an Interleague game that the importance of making sure that you do gel and become a close team really quickly. So the experience, guys such as Tone, Liam Hoy, there's a number of really experienced players who are really good at helping the group become really comfortable amongst each other, and that's what we saw last night, which was great.
And it seems like you've got sort of, I guess, some nucleus of teams in there as well, in terms of there's, I guess some clubs are represented pretty strongly. Was that a bit of a factor in the selection process, was getting those chunks of teams and keeping them together?
Not really. It's great that most of the clubs are represented, and I think that just reflects how strong the competition is at the moment. But look, our main goal was to try and pick guys who are in form. That's really important to us. We certainly wanted them to be fit. They're going to have to be able to run really well. Big ground, have to cover the ground. So there was a couple of criteria that we looked at, but as much as anything, it was about picking a team. So we haven't just picked the best 20 players in the competition. We've picked the best team that we can pick based on the positions they play really well. And if they play well, then we'll be a chance to win. And if they don't, we won't.
And you mentioned there the ground dynamics at the MCG are a bit different, and obviously it is tough when you've only got a really short time with the team, but what's been the focus of training?
Look, we've got a really experienced assistant coaching group that's been supporting me right throughout, so with Ricky Andrews and Gavin Webb and Heath Scotland all come with a wide range of experiences in football, and look, Interleague, I think you've got to try and pick a group of players who can ultimately show the talents that they've got, and they're all very talented, just like GV will be. But look, there's some specific things we want to try and do when we've got the footy, and we know GV being a good side as they will be, they're going to have the footy a fair bit as well, so we've got to try and come up with some plans on how we get it back, and they're the two things we've been practicing pretty hard, but in a short space of time you don't get a lot of time to fine-tune those as much as you'd like to if you were coaching a club, and you'd have them pretty well down pat. So we've focused on a couple of areas, but most importantly we want to see the boys play and show the skills they've got, and if they do that, I think they'll play pretty well.
And what sort of team dynamic do you reckon that the opposition brings in the Goulburn Valley, that is? Is that a hard question to answer?
It is a little bit. We've had a couple of guys, putting a lot of time and effort into trying to research them and find out as much as they can about GV. What we do know is that they're a great football league. They're always really strong. I think they'll have a side that's pretty similar to ours. They'll run well. They'll be highly skilled, and they'll have plenty of tall players that will have an influence on the game from time to time as well. So, look, I think the two teams will probably match up pretty well together. Obviously, how well we gel or how well they gel will determine the result in the end. But yeah, look, we've done a lot of homework on them, but you don't have a lot of time to implement too much. It's just hoping that our players will back them in and hopefully they play well.
Sure thing. And any big ins or outs or any last bit of injury concerns as well?
Oh, look, we've got a couple of guys just like GV do who are involved with VFL clubs, and that's fantastic, the opportunity that they've got to play the highest standard they can. So like GV have done, we've probably taken a little bit of a risk in selecting a couple of players knowing that they might go back to their VFL club. So look, we've got a couple of guys that we're still waiting on in that boat, but we've also got some players that we've got in mind should we not have those first pick players that we can bring in, and we think they'll do a good job for us. So yeah, it's almost settled, but as you know, things change quickly in football.
Absolutely.
Do you think you'll have enough pace? It's not a team that has a lot of experience, but I don't think there's a lot of really explosive pace looking through the players. How do you think you'll cope with that?
Yeah, look, it's something that we identified last year. We thought Bendigo almost got us last year through a lack of pace, so we have tried to identify players who we think cover the ground really well and guys who have got some genuine speed, and we think we've identified some of those guys. Speed's great. I'd prefer to pick guys who know how to find the footy. There's plenty of guys who are not super quick but know where the ball's going before lots of other people do. So we think that we've picked a group of players who we've got enough speed there, but we've also got some really talented players who know where to be at the right time, and that combination we're hoping will work for us.
Because it can be the speed of the movement of the ball rather than foot speed as well, leg speed.
And that's what we're relying on. Right. Yeah. So we've got some foot speed, but we think that we've got enough footy smarts that will move the ball from end to end the way that we want to play. And I suppose we've got to wait and see though.
You've got some good experience on the sidelines coaching team. Who are some of the great leaders in the squad that you think will be prominent on the day?
I think the fella next to me is highly regarded. Tony Lockyear obviously comes from a great background, with his VFL football, but someone who's gone back to his local club at Sebastopol, and Sebastopol are obviously building as a club, and getting guys like that back at the club and being able to really influence the culture around there and lead is what we were looking for in our Interleague team as well. So selecting guys like Tone, we think will have a big influence on trying to get the group gelled really well. Shane Page is obviously a fantastic leader, captained the team of the year last year in the team that was selected from the BFL. Also captained the Interleague side last year. I think Scotty Sherlock's a fantastic leader. I think you can go through all the lines. Liam Hoy, captains Redan, he's playing as well. So we've got leadership right across the field. I don't think you rely on any one to be able to do it, but I think if you've got them spread over the field, they'll certainly help to keep everyone on track.
Tony, tell us about the experience of coming together with a group of players. You're new to the league this year. You probably haven't played against half of the players yet. Have you found the experience so far, just meeting these players and?
Yeah, that's right. We've only had the 2 training sessions, and I'm not familiar with a lot of the Eastern guys, especially. I know a lot of the Ballarat boys from playing here all my life, but blokes like Steve Kennedy and that, I'm pretty keen to run out alongside them. They're obviously very good players and have been for years previously, so it's an exciting opportunity.
And Tony, how does it feel, MCG, biggest stage pretty much in the country? How's that feel?
Yeah, I don't think you get an opportunity like this every day to run it on the G. As good as our grounds are here in Ballarat, they don't have the big stands around the outside, so it might not be a packed house when we're playing, but I think there'll be a bit of a crowd rolling in towards the end of the game in anticipation for the AFL game, so it's an exciting opportunity, yeah, for sure.
What strengths do you think you take through your experience at VFL level? And there's a lot of VFL experience through the Ballarat squad. What sort of, how do you take that into the game as far as getting you ready for a game like this?
I think with all the boys that have been picked, they've played at a higher level, whether that's Interleague before or VFL. So I think we're all in good stead to approach the game, which is going to be obviously a quicker game. Smarter players out there than what we're used to in the BFL. So I think all the players that are out there are in good stead to take it on.
Sam Dunstan, you're playing alongside. I don't know if you got to talk to him at training. He's played in the Goulburn Valley League before. Has he been able to give you guys any insights as to some of the players that you come up against?
Is it a secret
weapon? He has. Sam doesn't talk a lot about footy. I think he's one of those guys that just likes to go out and play. But as you can see from the way that he's played this year, he's had a huge influence in a lot of the games that he's played. But yeah, he's certainly given us a bit of an insight into some of the players that we're likely to come up against. But look, you can find out lots and lots of information about opposition players. But I think on the day you just need to back your own players in, and that's what we'll be doing.
Losing Jackie Owens obviously hurts, but you've still got a lot of good tall men in the department to sort of carry on a day.
Yeah, look, Jake obviously would have been in the side and he's had a great season so far. He's another one that would have added really good leadership to our group as well. Really disappointed that he can't be out there from our perspective, but also for him because it's a great opportunity for him to play on the MCG with the other guys as well. But as we've always said, the health has to come first, and he got a really serious concussion, and we wouldn't consider him for in the risk that he might do some more damage to himself. So yeah, look, would love to have had him, but that's the way it goes. But yeah, we've got some other tools out there that we think they'll do the job well.
So what have you got planned for training? One more training session to go. What's planned for that?
We'll train out here at the City Oval. So just obviously it's a great surface, but just trying to identify another ground that's a little bit similar in size to the MCG, and it just, I suppose, helps you with your planning a little bit with positioning in terms of how you want to move the footy and defend the footy. So hopefully just a run around out there. It'll be pretty light as it was last night, but just again more about getting the guys to familiarise themselves with each other and be able to get hold of the footy and become comfortable kicking it to each other and learning a little bit about what each other can do.